As a man, I've been thinking more and more about what I'm putting into my body in terms of food. Food, in fact, is medicine, as I like to call it. And I think if you're looking at a place to increase your cognitive performance, there can be nothing more valuable than looking at what your dietary intake consists of and optimizing on a particular nutrient, which I have found I've been very deficient in. And once I've maximized the role this nutrient plays in my diet, I have found myself more cognitively sound, more clear in thinking, and overall, my performance has been phenomenal. I like to supplement for sure. I'm sure a lot of you men interested in self-improvement also are interested in supplementation. It's very, very resourceful, but there is that old saying that you cannot supplement your way out of a terrible diet. So, gentlemen, I thought today I would share with you the missing nutrient for men pertaining to brain performance. Now, I wanted to go over here in terms of elimination first and foremost. Now, whenever diet is concerned, of course, there's going to be areas of nuance, areas of variety. What may work for me may not work for you. Although I do think that holistically, the integration of the nutrient that I'm going to be sharing a little bit later is essential in all aspects if you are a human being. But what I can say with a high degree of accuracy is that these kinds of foods have no utility whatsoever. So I'm going to talk about ultra processed foods. And in fact, I like to say that these aren't really foods. Foods are supposed to nourish and satiate you. These do not do that. They are products. They are marketing. They are empty calories. Well, not even empty calories. Refined sugars. Refined sugars consist of anything that is coming off that manufacturing belt. Cakes, biscuits, sweets, these kinds of things serve nothing more than mouth pleasure, and you would do well to eliminate them completely from your diet. I mentioned before there's no nutritional utility whatsoever in these kinds of products, and there would be the basis of long-term health conditions that will see you to an early grave, that I am sure. What is even more insidious than refined sugars are seed oils. Seed oils are highly processed, highly refined products. Some of the examples here: rapeseed, sunflower, canola, corn, and soy oils will cause free radicals to appear in the body. This will damage your very DNA and it will cause inflammation, which is the start of all modern disease. These are highly malicious, pernicious products. And if you are using these kind of oils to cook with, nothing would do your health, not just quality, but quantity of health best in the future would be to eliminate these kinds of things in your daily diet. We'll talk about some of the products that I will encourage that you do use if you are finding yourself just coming to grips with these seed oils. Health and performance consequences. Now, before I kind of go into this, guys, a lot of people may think that I'm embellishing here, or I'm making this up, or I'm, again, exaggerating some of these points. I'm not. The consequence of including some of these foods in your diets will it will impact your IQ, your very IQ. There's a very interesting book called The Ultra Mind Solution by Dr. Mark Hyman, and in that book, he details the cognitive abilities of a child who lives their life on the kinds of foods that I've prefaced this video with, comparatively to some of the foods that I'm going to share with you, and test results. Even how the individual writes in terms of the handwriting is drastically improving. Things like your attention is predicated on the kinds of foods that you're eating. Can you imagine that? The foods that you're eating may have an impact on how long you are to concentrate on something. Brain disorders. This is a huge one. ADHD, I kind of alluded to there previously, but early onset Alzheimer's disease. Neurosis. You've heard about the, I hope you've heard about the brain-gut connection. In the East, they refer to your gut biome as your second brain because of the amount of neurological connections that are in the gut, and they produce a large amount of your serotonin, meaning what you eat has a significant impact on the amount of serotonin that you're releasing throughout your neurochemistry, that feel-good neurotransmitter, pardon me. What you eat can literally make you miserable or make you happy, granted if it's satiating food. So anxiety, depression, stress may be the consequence of the kinds of foods that you are eating. And psychosis as well, bipolar and schizophrenia disorders have all got roots in the absence of some of the solutions that I will now be sharing with you. Okay, so I understand, I really do appreciate your attention here, because a lot of this I'm sure you'll be very familiar with. What I don't think you'll be familiar with is the role of fat in your diet. Fat is such an essential nutrient in your diet. It is staggering how people still believe this malicious narrative that fat makes you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Fat is crucial for the regulation of your endocrine system, your hormonal system, right? Your brain is actually 60% DHA. Your brain is a big ball of fat, and it cannot function to its cognitive capacity without it. Fats also allow the permeation of vitamins into cells. No fat, no vitamin benefit. It's all very well, having, I don't know, you've got vegetarians here or individuals that may be using supplementation. You can't make use of those supplementations if you don't have fat in your diet. It makes the whole membrane of the cell. So this is something that we have to get out of very, very quickly, is this idea that there's something damaging about fat. So what kind of forms of fat can you start to include in your diet? Well, previously I was condemning the use of seed oils. These are the only oils that I believe that you should be having in your cooking process. So virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and also coconut oil as well. Coconut oil has MCT, which is very, very beneficial for creating ketones in the brain, which your body can use as an alternative fuel source. I've also been very foolish here, and I haven't mentioned just organic butter and also ghee. I cook with a lot of ghee as well. Fish, oily fish, salmon, trout, herring, mackerel, and sardines. This is going to be your omega-3s, right? So studies have actually shown that fish consumption mitigates depression. Did you know that the rate in which the human brain developed was optimal when we were on a seafood-based diet? A seafood-based diet, or a diet when we were living by the coast, meaning our neurochemistry, our very brain grew quicker when we were eating fish, when we were eating shellfish, prawns, octopus, squid, all the shellfish by the sea, right? Because it's all omega-3, it's all good fats for the brain. Red meat, ribeye, ground beef, all the red meat, right? Now, I did a post on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of you guys are vegetarians or vegans apparently, which is strange. What I will say to those of you is there's nothing I can say that is going to win you over to overcoming that ideological narrative. You're going to have to find that out by yourself. I'm talking from a scientific and an empirical standpoint. I know a lot of you guys are vegetarian, vegan for religious reasons, and I completely respect that. But your body cannot function without the absence of saturated fat in your diet. And the best form of saturated fat comes in the form of animal products. I don't want to get into the semantics about the religious concepts here. Maybe I'll save that for another video. But it's actually a very simple answer to that. Maybe you can let me know if you want to hear my answer. But for the guys that are eating red meat, one area that you guys are falling short on is the cuts of meat with saturated fat. So, of course, you have things like your what did I eat the other day? Like a rump steak, that's fine, a little bit typically lower on fat, but you want to be going for your fattier cuts. Ribeye is a great cut, one of my favorite cuts. Ground beef with high fat percentage. You want 20%, 25 or more if you can, and it also tastes better. Beef shin, I'm a big fan of. Has a little bit gelatinous, but very good fats there. Beef cheek, oxtail, beautiful. Again, a little bit gelatinous, but these things are crucial for your endocrine system and your brain development. Avocados and olives, big fan of. Chicken thighs and eggs. Again, you're looking for the fattier cuts of meat. Pork belly and bacon, walnuts, pecans and cashews. Now, I need to do more research on nuts. I don't have a lot of nuts in my diet. When I am having nuts in my diet, though, I'm typically having walnuts. Walnuts are very high in omega-3 and are crucial for brain development. Now, I've been mentioning omega-3 a lot. Why am I mentioning omega-3? Well, brain development, of course, I've mentioned before, but also inflammation. It is crucial in anti-inflammation. As I mentioned in the preface, in the start, all disease starts with inflammation. If you want to reduce disease, reduce inflammation. How do you reduce inflammation? Omega-3s in your diet. If you're not a fan of fish, not supplementing with cod liver oil may be making you autistic. I know that might be something to laugh at, but I'm being genuinely serious. The studies are showing that individuals who have an absence of omega-3s, which is 5% of the population are meeting the adequate needs of omega-3s in their diet, are having impacts here, cognitively. And it will start slowly. It will start with a brain fog. It will start with a brain fog. It will start with a fatigue. It will start with the neurotic tendencies and things like that. And then it will start to escalate the more and more you leave these things out your diet. They are crucial for building your very hormones, the very chemical messengers in your body. Without fat, you cannot function. You cannot function. So gentlemen, I really think, above, of course, protein. I could have gone into protein. Maybe I'll do another video on protein if you like the kind of nutritional side of things that I'm bringing with you. I'm being very conscious recently about what I'm eating, and I'm finding remarkable areas of improvement, even for me. I'm a clinical exercise practitioner when I was at uni, and I used to love this stuff. I still love this stuff, so I do have a lot of catching up to do, but fat is something that I really think you need to be optimizing in your diet. If you're watching this video, only 5% of you are eating adequate amounts of fat in your diet. So you need to be looking in the areas that I've mentioned here, in your olive oil, in your oily fish, in your saturated fat, saturated red meats, avocado, chicken thighs, eggs, didn't mention eggs, pork belly, bacon, walnuts, seeds, maybe not too much on the seeds, but specifically the animal fat, you need to be optimizing. And these aren't theories. These are not theories. This is empirical truth. And you will see for yourself the anecdotal truth when you start optimizing it. But I will bring you something else very soon. Gentlemen, take care and get that fat in your diet.